What are some general consequences of anger repression?
General consequences of anger repression. There are many, and perhaps we can turn back a little to what we were talking about before about the problem that anger repression can harm the other emotions, and of course, most particularly, the emotions of love, desire, and joy. And of course, you can see then how what may start as a simple singular problem, handling anger incorrectly, can then move on to hampering the very essence of the emotions which really makes us who we truly are, which is made in the image of God, and then to be loving and all of that, to have those tender, effective movements. And so unfortunately, that's one general consequence. Then we have the decreasing of spontaneity, and you'll find that often people have no anger, don't seem to be very spontaneous. That it just seems that there's more of a mechanical kind of movement as opposed to a kind of a spontaneous sort of lively reactiveness to things. Instead, everything's much more sized up, calculated in a kind of an unfree way. We also have the problem of decreasing sensitivity as a consequence to anger repression, and that makes sense because if the person is not sensitive in his responsiveness to situations that are injurious because he's repressed his anger, he then has a corresponding decrease in sensitivity because he's not sensing things with the fullness and richness and the vitality of a normal emotional life. So sensitivity will be hampered. Also, there is decreasing creativity, because one of the beautiful things about having all the faculties that God gave us functioning fully is that they enable us to really make a lot of what God has given us. We're able to put, you could say, all of ourselves into things as opposed to part of ourselves. And that's often a good thing to talk to clients about, how what they're really missing is completeness. And that's something they respond well to. Say, well, this is kind of a partial response, but if this was happening, you would find that it would be more complete. And just think about what a wonderful thing that would be and how wonderfully creative that would be for your life and the life of others. So that creativity is important. Also, anger repression results in decreasing self-identity. And again, if you think of this problem of partiality, if the person is partially not functioning completely, then he's going to have trouble at some level fully responding to his full identity in Christ, because it's not all there. It's only partially there. And so a problem with his self-identity, a problem with human relatedness. Because of repression, he will not be able to relate to other human beings in the best fashion. Also, a problem with tension and restlessness from the repression, busyness, perhaps to kind of avoid feeling the anger. Also, anxiety and panic states can be created. And unfortunately, with many people today who have repressed their anger for long periods of time, will often seek tension relief in drugs or alcohol. So you can see that it's a spiraling problem.